honestly didn't think that the updates would be so fast and furious on this case. And it's ironic because that's the only thing that is fast and furious, because as of today, it looks like I have 2 dead Land Rovers. So, I bought the interim car whilst the original Land Rover was being fought over. Well, the interim car was a 2016 plate Land Rover Discovery. I think it's a Discovery 4 it's called. Before you all shoot me and say why, when you'd got one dead Land Rover, did you buy another Land Rover? And that's a really good question. Well, the reason was I couldn't afford the BMW X5. I couldn't afford the Toyota Land Cruiser. I needed the actual physical family car as well as the towing car. So whilst I should have bought a Toyota Hilux, and hindsight being a wonderful thing, I didn't, because it wasn't so easy on a daily basis with my swimmer to cope with all the swim bags and the school bags, because they all go to the back of the car, or the back of the boot, and it was a nightmare. He used to have to get up at 4:30 in the morning in training, and they're expensive to run. So I wish I had, I didn't. We were advised that to suit our needs, which were quite niche, the 2016 Land Rover was the best one because it had the engine that didn't blow up. So we bought a 16 plate with 76,000 miles on the clock, I can't remember. We changed the cam belt when we bought it because we were advised to change it at 8 years or 80,000 miles. When we changed the cam belt, we got it back and it started going into restricted performance. We had it checked out. There was no discernible reason as to why it went into restricted performance until it did it in January. We limped home and we got it recovered and the turbos had gone. So we did £4,000 on turbos and quite a lot of money getting it taken to the specialist garage, because by this point I wasn't touching a dealer's ever again. So I wanted it to go to a Land Rover specialist garage that knew what they were talking about. It had its turbos put back. Everything was dreamy. It came back and about 3 weeks later it went into restricted performance again. So we then use our local garage. The first one was up north. The second one is in Peterborough. 4x4 Avenger, if anyone needs a local garage, they are amazing. So it goes there, we do all the diagnostics, and we don't know why it's going into limp mode. Apparently there's a thing where there's a sensor behind one of the front headlights. It could be that, so they checked that and it was a bit loose, so they put it back together. Wasn't that. Then there was a valve that wasn't opening and closing properly, so they checked that, they changed that. Lots of little tweaks here and there. Made sure the coolant was okay, all the bits that you do, checked the oil, everything. Couldn't find it, but it kept going into restricted performance, and it keeps going into restricted performance. And I just felt from how often it was happening, something was on the horizon. And lo and behold, today, when the other half gets in it, it's dead. Nothing. The lights come on, it's got more lights than Blackpool Tower on the dashboard, but no engine, no turning over, no nothing. We've tried the jump start, it's not the battery. One of the warning lights came on and said we needed to fill it with AdBlue, so we fill it with AdBlue. Nothing, hasn't made any difference. And just to caveat that, no warning lights had come on. You normally get a fill your AdBlue in however many thousand miles. None of that had come on. So was it a sensor? We don't know. Effectively, you push a button, dead. Now, the road I'm going down with that is it's the engine. And if it's the engine, it's £10,000. We don't have £10,000. We've already done 35,000 on the Discovery Sport. We then did 20,000 to buy the interim car, which we've already spent 8,000 on. And now, if it's the engine, that's another 10,000. Now, I bought a Discovery Sport. It's all I want. It's all I wanted. I wish I'd never, ever seen it in my life. So whose fault is it? And this is what everyone's saying. Whose fault is it that we are now £70,000 out of pocket with no car to drive? Is it the manufacturer? That's Land Rover. Is it their fault? Because the reason that the first car went into Marshalls was because of the steering rack failure. So is it that? And it was a recall and a known fault, but we hadn't had that recall or that known fault. Was it Motorpoint's fault? Should they have known about that and addressed that at the time? But they said they did their checks and there was nothing wrong with the car when they sold it. So that had developed over time, which is consistent with the recall of the steering rack. Was it Marshall's fault? Well, it wasn't Marshall's fault why it went in, but it was Marshall's fault that it fell off the rollers. And that's their words, not mine. When people say to me, what does that mean? I don't know. I was told it fell off the rollers, and I was told that it had effectively taken the driver's side off as it came down. We don't know if it came down with a bang. We don't know if it reversed or it rolled down. We don't know, because they won't give me any of the information on what happened in that incident. And it's referred to by the lawyers that at the time were acting for Marshalls, telling me that I needed to accept the cap clean price as the rejection and walk away. They had said it wasn't a crash, it was an incident. So we refer to it as an incident. And on the cap clean price, that is a price that is set by We Buy Any Car, Cinch, Carwow. They're all owned by Constellation. Constellation own Marshalls. So when Marshalls give you a price for the car that they want to buy off you, if it's a rejected car, they will have that price set by the company that owns them. So is that going in my favour or is that going in their favour? You can work that one out. I don't know. I'm mildly going to suggest it goes in their favour, because the price that they offered me was significantly under the price that I could have got for it with a private sale in Auto Trader. Now, of course, there's always a bit of a wriggle room and you get more for a private sale. We know that, because they're not going to shave their bit off the top. But we're talking significant £4,000 gap. So my car that went in was worth 26 grand. It's now worth, I don't know, 17. The £20,000 car that I bought, the replacement car, is now sat dead on my drive. I can't move it. I've now got the stress of getting it off my drive to the garage for them to have a look at it and tell me what's wrong with it. And it's not going to be a cheap fix, is it? We're not talking about 20 quid for some new AdBlue. We know that this is going to be an engine. Where do I get that from? We're £70,000 in. We don't have it. And we don't have a car. And I can't take my daughter to where she needs to be. And I'm at the end of my rope. I just want 4 wheels and a tow bar. Or I don't want 4 wheels and a tow bar. I want a little 3.5 ton horse box, which there's one advertised locally for 12.5 grand. I'll do that and I'll drive a little run around. I'm not looking for flash. I don't need a name. I certainly don't need it to have the Land Rover name. The Toyota Hilux, I keep talking about it. It's literally, it does the job. But yeah, I can't afford it. I can't get it. I can't get anything now, because both of my cars, both of my Land Rovers are dead. Now, you can all come up with who you think is to blame. Nobody wants ownership of it. Nobody wants to take ownership of this. So I'm left with 2 cars that I can't drive and no money to be able to fix them and no money to be able to buy something to get us out of this mess. And then the icing on the cake is I get an email today, 2-liner, from Client Care Jaguar Land Rover, telling me that a person at client, I mean literally it's a 2-liner, telling me that a person there is opening a caseload. It has my name, a case number and legal claim. Now, is that them legal claim on me? Is that me legal claim on them? What is that? It's come out of the blue. I suspect somebody at Land Rover has watched these videos, and instead of reaching out and going, we're so sorry to hear about this, can we have a conversation with you? Or we'd really rather you didn't make these videos about Land Rover. We don't think it's our fault. None of those. Just a 1-liner. Nothing from Marshalls. The Ombudsman, as we know, said yesterday it could be till July. I've emailed them with an update today and said, please, can we expedite this? Because I do not know what the hell we're going to do right now. We are out of money and we are out of car, and I don't even know how I'm going to get it to the garage. So that's today's update. Apology for the tears. We go on. And do you know what? We've just had somebody round we've got a problem with the house, so they've just come round to quote to see if they can fix with that. And he's telling me the story of his friend who's just driven their brand new Defender back onto the forecourt of Marshalls and said, have it back, I'm not having it. Because it's been such a disaster from start to finish. And the messages, if you read these comments, before anybody wants to say, I shouldn't be saying this stuff, this is not just me. If you read these comments and see how many other people have had the very same service. I'm getting emails from people who have suffered exactly the same as me, saying, thank you so much for highlighting this, or we had to go through this, or we never got resolution with this, or they did exactly the same for us. This is not just a one-woman band. And I'm happy to provide all of that to any legal company if they want to. This is not my malpractice. This is not my fault. I bought a car, I bought a Land Rover car, and it suffered steering rack failure consistent with the recall. And from then, this whole mess has ensued, and it never needed to. It never needed to get this far. All it needed was Land Rover Marshalls to do the right thing at the time and put it right. And when they didn't put it right, meet me with actually a respectful offer that showed integrity, compassion, and an understanding of the situation, instead of trying to do a fast one on me. And that's why I said no. And I will continue to say no. I don't know where that little thing comes from, but it's probably just as well because I think I've got snot coming out my nose. And I am sorry, but this is not okay. This is not how you treat people. This is not business. And it has affected my entire family. And I'm not just talking about my nuclear family here. I'm talking about my dad, my mum. It's a mess. And it never, ever needed to be. It needed someone with a bit of humanity, and it wouldn't have cost anywhere near this much. But now, it's, well, I don't know where to go. I will take some time. I will recalibrate. I'll have a cuddle with the dogs. I bought these today. You know what? When all else is wrong in the world, have a crimble. And I will let you know, but update today is I am now the proud owner of 2 dead Land Rovers. I've got a friend who's coming round in a bit they've got a computer to see if they can find out what's wrong with this before we get the tow car to come and pick it up, the recovery car. I mean, how much is that going to cost? And I know before anyone says cars are expensive, I get that. I absolutely get that. But you cannot seriously tell me that it's acceptable to be potentially spending £18,000 in repairs on a £20,000 car that we've had for less than a year, whilst our other car is in the garage. I don't think that's okay. I just don't. And if it was a Hilux or a Land Cruiser or a Ranger or any of those things, I can tell you now this wouldn't be happening. So yeah, whose fault is it? But if I was Land Rover, I would never, ever allow Marshalls to have another one of my car, ever. And Land Rover, if you are watching this, go through all the other videos and read the comments. These are not just my words. And your brand was synonymous with luxury and a good British brand. And it is now synonymous, particularly through Marshalls, as cars that fail all the time. If I were you, I'd get them out Marshalls PDQ, but that's your call. It's not up to me. All I know is that I'm absolutely screwed, thanks to, well, you tell me. It's like an Inspector Calls or Cluedo. It was Marshalls in the library with the rollers. I'll keep you updated, and sorry for the tears. It's just been a bit of a day.